Ezekiel and the Valley of Dry Bones. Explanation of biblical stories. The book of Ezekiel, one of the prophetic texts of the Old Testament, presents one of the most impactful and symbolic visions in the Bible, the Valley of Dry Bones. This narrative not only reveals the deep anguish of the people of Israel during their exile, but also offers a powerful message of hope and renewal. Ezekiel's vision, where dry bones come to life, invites us to reflect on spiritual restoration and God's ability to transform despair into hope. By exploring this story, we can better understand the historical and theological context surrounding the prophet Ezekiel, as well as the timeless lessons this passage offers about faith, resilience, and the promise of rebirth. But before diving in, please give us a like, and if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing to ensure that YouTube sends you notifications for more videos. Your support helps the channel grow. Imagine an immense valley covered with dry, dusty bones. Total silence, not even a whisper of wind. Suddenly, a noise, the bones begin to move, coming together. Muscles grow, skin forms. In a matter of moments, an entire army stands, alive and breathing. It sounds like a scene from a horror movie or science fiction, doesn't it? But in reality, this is a powerful biblical vision that took place thousands of years ago. And the most incredible part is that it has everything to do with your life today. Ezekiel was a man in a desperate situation. Picture this. He was a prophet, but far from home, exiled in a foreign land. His people, the Israelites, had been conquered and taken captive to Babylon. Everything they knew and loved was left behind. It was as if their world had ended. Families separated, the temple destroyed, and the promised land now in the hands of strangers. Can you imagine the discouragement and deep sadness? Many thought, it's over. God has abandoned us. There's no hope left for us. In this scene of total desolation, God decided to act. He had a powerful message to deliver and chose Ezekiel to be his messenger. But it wouldn't be an ordinary message, just words. No, God would use an image so strong and impactful that no one would ever forget it. And so our story begins. Ezekiel, probably on an ordinary day, without expecting anything extraordinary, suddenly feels the hand of the Lord upon him. Have you ever felt something like that? That sense that God is about to do something great, something that will change everything? The prophet is carried away by the Spirit. In the blink of an eye, he finds himself transported to a place that seemed to emerge straight from his worst nightmares. A vast valley stretches before him. But it's not a valley filled with greenery or life. No, it's a valley of death. Bones everywhere, thousands, perhaps millions of them, dry and bleached by the sun, scattered across the ground as if a terrible battle had occurred there long ago. The silence is deafening. No birds singing, no buzzing of insects, nothing but the wind blowing through the remains. Ezekiel must have felt a chill running down his spine. What did it all mean? Why had God brought him to such a desolate place? He didn't know it yet, but he was about to witness one of the greatest miracles recorded in the Bible. That valley wasn't just an open-air cemetery. It was a powerful symbol of the spiritual state of the people of Israel, dead, without hope, forgotten. But God was about to show that even in the most impossible situation, he can bring life. And you know what's even more amazing? This story isn't stuck in the past. It speaks directly to us today. How many times have we felt like that? As if our hopes, dreams, and faith were as dry as those bones. As if there were no solution left. But wait and see what God will do in this valley. Because what he did there, he can do in your life too. Are you ready to see the impossible happen? Ezekiel stands there, amidst that terrifying valley, surrounded by dry bones everywhere. The silence is oppressive, broken only by the sound of the wind blowing through the remains. His heart must be racing, his mind trying to process what his eyes are seeing. In this moment of shock and confusion, God asks him a question. Son of man, can these bones live? Imagine the impact of that question. It's as if God is challenging not just logic, but all the laws of nature we know. Dry bones, exposed to the sun and wind for who knows how long, coming back to life. Impossible, right? But Ezekiel, this prophet, was special. He had seen God do incredible things before. He knew that with God, the rules of possible and impossible don't apply the same way. So instead of falling into the trap of an immediate no, he responds with surprising wisdom, "O Lord God, only you know." It's as if Ezekiel is saying, "Look, Lord, if it depended on me or any other human being, I would say there's no chance. But you are not limited like we are. If you're asking, you must have something in mind. So tell me, what do you plan to do?" This response from Ezekiel is a great lesson for us. How many times do we look at a situation in our lives and quickly conclude, there's no way? A marriage that seems beyond repair, a dream buried long ago, an illness the doctors say is incurable, or a financial situation that feels like a bottomless pit. These are our own valleys of dry bones. And it's there that God comes and asks us the same question: can this live again? Our first reaction might be disbelief, even irritation. What do you mean, God? Don't you see there's no way? But what if, like Ezekiel, we learn to respond, "Only you know"? This question from God isn't just about dry bones in a distant valley. It's about hope. It's about believing that God can do the impossible. It's an invitation to see beyond our limitations and glimpse divine possibilities. Ezekiel's response to God's question about the dry bones serves as a profound lesson for us today. It challenges us to reflect on our own situations that seem hopeless and to reconsider our instinctual reactions. Often we face challenges, whether they are in our relationships, dreams, health, or finances, that feel insurmountable. Just as Ezekiel stood in the midst of a valley filled with dry bones, we find ourselves in our own valleys, confronted by despair. Think about a marriage that feels beyond repair. Communication may have broken down, trust may have eroded, and hope may seem lost. In these moments, it's easy to declare that there's no way forward, to accept that the relationship is beyond redemption. Yet God invites us to reconsider. Just as he asked Ezekiel, he prompts us to reflect, can this marriage live again? If we can shift our perspective, embracing the possibility of restoration, we might begin to see the potential for healing and reconciliation. Similarly, consider a dream that has been buried long ago. Perhaps it's a career aspiration, a creative pursuit, or a personal goal that once ignited your passion. Life's circumstances may have overshadowed it, leading to a belief that it can never be realized. But what if we, like Ezekiel, respond to God's inquiry with openness? Instead of shutting down the idea, we could ask, what would it take to bring this dream back to life? God often works in ways we cannot predict, and by believing in the possibility of revival, we open ourselves to divine guidance and inspiration. Health challenges can feel especially daunting, particularly when doctors provide grim diagnoses. The prognosis may lead us to feel defeated, as if our bodies have betrayed us. However, the question remains, can this live again? When we adopt Ezekiel's attitude, we acknowledge that our understanding of health and healing is limited. It invites us to explore avenues of hope through treatment, support, and faith that may lead to unexpected recovery. Financial difficulties often create a sense of hopelessness, resembling a bottomless pit. It's easy to feel trapped, believing there's no way out. Yet, in this valley of financial strain, God's question resonates. Can this situation be restored? If we embrace a mindset of possibility, we might seek new solutions, make necessary changes, and trust in a future that can be brighter than our current circumstances. Ezekiel's reply, "Only you know," reflects a posture of humility and faith. It acknowledges our limitations while opening the door to divine possibilities. This response encourages us to let go of our preconceived notions of what is achievable and to lean into a relationship with God that allows for miraculous outcomes. By doing so, we can transform our approach to life's challenges, moving from a place of despair to one of hope and expectation. Ultimately, embracing this perspective not only reshapes our understanding of our situations, but also deepens our faith. We begin to see that with God all things are possible. Rather than resigning ourselves to defeat, we are called to ask for His guidance, to dream anew, and to believe in the restoration of what seems lost. In this way, we can navigate our own valleys of dry bones with courage, knowing that revival is always within reach when we trust in God's power to bring life from death.